I'm Swoosh. I play main tank for Florida Mayhem. I'm from Sweden. We live in a small village called Fagersta with only 12,000 people. I've played games since I was 10. It all started with my big brother who used to have LAN parties and I got hooked instantly. I love playing tank because you have to do everything to keep your team alive. Even if it means putting your body in front of your allies, you have to do it.
Swoosh just trying to keep San Francisco Shock bottled up a bit.
My favorite snack right now would be the teriyaki beef jerky. It's absolutely amazing. And I've heard people talk about it before I went to NA. And trying it myself, it's totally amazing. My personal goal for Season 1 is to obviously win the entire league, but I would also love to prove myself as a tank, and I can't wait to prove that every single person wrong who doubted me.
Yeah, man, Swoosh, man, with a bone to pick, sounds like. I mean, it's good, because he needs to pick all that teriyaki out of his teeth. That stuff gets stuck in there, and it's a nightmare, Hex.
We're both fans of the jerky. So 12,000 people in this home. I'm pretty sure there's 12,000 people in my apartment building.
Dude, Sweden is a big place, and then you realize, wait a second, everybody only lives in like Malmo, Stockholm, or Gothenburg, and the rest of it is just forest. There's nothing there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. That's why. No humans to mess it up.
It is very nice. I've been to Gothenburg. Gothenburg?
Oh, no, we're not going to get into this game. Göteborg? Yeah, no. That's the thing, man. It's you get the Swedish names, and they're just like, yeah, Freiburg is fine, you know, because otherwise it's like Friberg, and I'm like, nope, I can't say that.
One thing I can pronounce is Anubis, Temple of. We are going into the only map that the Shanghai Dragons have won coming into today's set has been an assault map. They won Horizon Lunar Colony against, I believe it was the San Francisco Shock. So maybe this is a map type that will give them an advantage. When I looked at this pool, as I mentioned on Dorado, having a Widow is very, very good, especially this first point. However, you know how much I love Genji on second point here, and they don't really have one on the roster.
Come on, man. All right, just real quick to note, obviously for Florida Mayhem, they are a 6-man roster. They have no subs. That will get that out of the way real quick. But Shanghai Dragons have elected not to change up either. So they're going to stick with the same roster here that they had on the first map. So I'm curious to see how that works out, if we're going to get a different result, or if they're going to decide to shake things up again, maybe get Roshan into the play.
Yeah, Roshan is definitely their Winston main, and Zushu's going to pick up that role too. Maybe they thought they could change something up. I mean, at a certain point when you're on 3, you just change anything up and hope for a little bit of different results here. So Temple of Anubis, like I said, this is the map type that Shanghai was successful on previously, and it is a good Widow map. Looks like the defense for the Mayhem going to be building that wall. Game of Thrones style. Get Orisa up there as well.
Yeah, we are in North America after all. So, curious to see where the Widow is going to come into the mix here. If Logix is going to elect to go back to it. No, actually, sorry, Tvik already had it. It was Logix who was switching out to the Tracer.
I was going with fantasy walls. Why have to bring reality into my life?
Funny, I was talking about one too. So, on the other side, Shanghai Dragons. Yeah, it's looking like straight Diverino here for them, although Undead will be rocking the Widow, so I'm sure we'll see him battle versus Tvik. It's not really going to be fun for him, though, because Tvik is going to get a shield, and you can already see it happening. Zube with the boost. Tvik is just going to hit like a freight train.
The moment Undead sees this, he should switch. There's nothing you can do as an offensive Widow in this situation. You're never going to crack that shield, and I think once they saw it, they're going to try to figure something out. Maybe Undead goes Genji. You can crack this static position if you send a Genji up with both of your tanks, but it seems like Undead is going to wait for his tanks to push them off of high ground and hopefully pick up the aftermath.
I mean, fair enough. The only thing, you don't have a Genji here. That is a cool angle, but you don't have a Genji here to like combo up with MG with Zoosh. Okay, buddy. Tvik, definitely not expecting that.
We'll see if we can do it again because Tvik is rezzed up immediately. Zebo takes down Dia, who is part of that dive. There goes Free Feel, and despite the nice pickoff early from Undead, it does seem like Florida has stabilized, but the offense has the advantage here because the run back distance, they will get reinforcements quicker if they can continue to push.
Yes, listen to your diva. There is in fact a sniper in the back line. Curious to see how long Undead's going to be able to hang around back there, because you do have Swoosh who's currently trying to hunt her down, and Swoosh, Big Monkey with the taser, and he looks like he's found her. Undead, not long for this world, and he will get staggered. That might slow things down a little bit here for Shanghai.
And now he's in the sunk cost kind of situation, because he probably should switch off of the Widow, but at 96% of your ultimate, you're able to see through walls. That will give you the advantage in the Widow v Widow battle, so I think he'll give it one more life.
Well, if you can keep pulling a fast one on Tvik like that, fair enough. If you're going to force the res out of Zupe, that could make the rest of the fight, go your way. And so, fingers crossed here that Undead will find the angle. The rest of his team are waiting to go. MG just taking a peek out there, trying to see if he can spot anybody, and they're working their way around here. MG trying to create some kind of lane to get a wrap going. Perhaps the pincer onto the point is what's meant to happen.
And they're putting a little pressure on the point as well. They've got a little bit of progress there that makes them abandon the high ground on the defense as they continue to push. And if Undead can win this fight, which he cannot, because Tvik rises to the occasion, rises to the challenge, takes down Undead. And that's going to be very difficult for the offense to continue pushing without that DPS pressure.
Wait, there's no way. Tvik didn't hear that? It doesn't seem like he cares. He knows that the jump is used, but there's the follow-up. Zushu hunting down Zupe. That could be a big play here that could turn the tide, but it doesn't look like Shanghai are in position to take advantage of it.
That's 100% worth. They have to go in on this now. They have Valkyrie up. They know Zupe is out of the fight. Just go in. Even if you die, res it up. It is time to go, Shanghai.
Trying to will them forward here because this is a big opportunity, but it looks like Zupe will have time to run back and support his teammates, and sure enough, Zupe's back into the fight. Tvik is there to lay the damage down. Does manage to bait out a reaction here from Zushu, who's gone for the Primal Rage, and so he's looking to bat people off of the high ground down onto the point, but Tvik is here watching the line, and he misses the shot. Huge opportunity here for Tvik. He's been spotted, and it looks like Dia wants to try and put the pressure on him.
Tvik's gonna try to get out of there. The pulse bomb does not find Pater, but Altering goes down in this fight after he popped Valkyrie. That is a disaster for Shanghai. Florida will get the resurrection should they so need it.
And in the meantime, Zupe just flying high on those wings, rezzing people left and right. And we've only got 40 seconds left here for Shanghai Dragons to make a play. They have a tick, at least, on the first point.
It's just so disappointing they didn't use Valkyrie because you're not going to win even fights. Your history shows you're not winning even fights, so you have to know when your timing windows are, when you have the advantage, and to press the advantage. You just pick the enemy Mercy and everyone's retreating. Just unbind your W. Stop going backwards.
Actually, I think it's the S that you want to unbind there, so Hex just saying. W is forward.
Oh,
all right, never mind. I'm throwing you under the bus here. I don't even know why, but whatever. Let's get into it because already Maniton again, big kill with the self-destruct there, taking down Freefield. There is a presence on the point. It's MG, but her mech is already half dead. And so now it is the duel between Logix and Dia. Tvik has been caught by Zushu, but still Florida Mayhem remain. And they still have the Transcendence as well here from the Zenyatta to try and delay things further if they wanted to, although no, I think he's actually having to run back from spawn, so never mind.
Well, this substitution has worked out great for them. Zushu carrying this team on his back with 3 quick kills on the Winston, cleaning up everything on the point, and off of that great scientist play, they will capture first point in the 25th hour.
So, Shanghai, overtime artists. That's the nickname now, because it's what we saw in the first point. Oh, nicely done by Tvik, but then again, it's Junkrat. You really just throw those nades out, and Dia, well, all you can do is shake your head. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He was damage boosted too. That's a one shot onto a Tracer. Feels bad, man. I play a lot of Tracer. I eat a lot of those grenades.
Yeah.
It never feels good.
You and me both. And then you kind of just shake your fist at the heavens, Junkrat, and try, not to freak out too much. But Tvik, I mean, I guess when you've got the Tvik, you're playing against one of the better players out there. Tvik is just a beast, able to play so many heroes. I believe we saw the tidbit there was like 11 heroes played so far.
He's always been very versatile. They're running a good composition here. It should counter everything they're running because Undead will be mostly unchecked in the air. The reason you don't see a ton of Pharah on offense on Last Point Anubis is it's just so small and claustrophobic. The ceiling is kind of low. You can't really utilize her strengths all of that well. You get caught up on these pillars. So the idea is sound to be able to use it against the Junkrat, of course, the natural counter, and there's no great counter to it. We'll see if Undead can actually get anything done with that Pharah.
Very curious to see if Tvik is going to be able to land the mines on her. Just because of that lack of height, it could set it up. Logix just waiting patiently. It doesn't look like Shanghai Dragons are aware of him being up here on this shelf. Taking a couple of pot shots, and now the game is up. They're going to have spotted him. He doesn't have the pulse bomb, though, but he is just looking to take the fight straight to Dia. Not going to let Dia get comfortable back here at all.
That is a late Transcend that comes in trying to keep the tanks alive as they both went in. MG will go down because he took a 1v6 in there. He will be the first to fall, and that means the fight's essentially over, but they will start rezzing people back to life. Both now up 6v6.
6v6, and we get a rinse and repeat. Undead has connected with Swoosh, though. Those missiles, the rockets actually doing the damage. Tvic's still alive, though, and he is perfectly capable of doing tremendous damage himself. Although there it is, the barrage, and Tvic, no way for him to cancel it, but somehow he survives.
He survives because Zupe came out of spawn and he's got his Valkyrie up. Everyone's going to get that chain healing. A later Valkyrie used by the Florida Mayhem means that they will hold on this defense. Shanghai, not for nothing, did get a third here, so they're going to have another couple pushes. 90 seconds remains in their time bank.
MG, this is what you do. You let the baby diva run. Although Tvic doesn't have a shred of mercy, he's actually going to beat her to death. But really what you want to do is let that diva stay alive, because then she'll have trouble getting that mech back. It could delay things further. So small details that you guys can take away and start using in your own games.
It's one of the biggest downsides to D.Va is that she's able to be staggered so effectively when she gets out of mech. You see it a lot. It's a big part of the strategy. And anytime you can delay a team that only has 90 seconds left, that might just win you the map.
Yeah, exactly. We hear it. Voice of God right there. 60 seconds left.
Huge Valkyrie advantage on the side of Shanghai. On paper, this is a fight they should win, and that's a great start for them as well. Maniton out of the mix.
And on high logic. No way! Kobe! That's one way to handle the Pharah. Just drop a pulse grenade on her, pulse bomb. That's it. Logic's keeping the pressure up.
Both resurrections used out of this Valkyrie, which was the huge advantage here. If Florida's able to stall out at all, Zupe will have his Valkyrie. It does come online right now.
What is this tire? Really got the mileage on that one, Tvic. And well, Swoosh just punching people in the face. That's what he loves to do. And it is looking like it's kind of petering out here for Shanghai Dragons. They have got 15 seconds left on this clock to make a play, and Swoosh not gonna let them get out in one piece either.
So there's three things we know about Swoosh. He likes to dance, he likes beef teriyaki, and he likes punching people in the face.
All of those key, you know, perfectly acceptable. I'm fine with that.
I'd like to hang out with him. It sounds fun. At least the first two.
And there we have it. Time runs out. Shanghai not quite able to make it happen. And it's kind of a similar situation to what we had on Dorado, right? They get one tick on this point. In the second point here of Anubis, Dorado, same thing. Got the first point in overtime and then just maybe got like a tick worth of progress on that payload.
It's just been about pressing their advantage when they have it and not necessarily knowing when they have the advantage. The top level teams not only know when to use their ults, but they know what ults they're going into. And they know when they have a 20% Valkyrie lead and they can press that and win the fight. They had a huge Valkyrie lead. They should have got in there. Of course, a nice pulse bomb by Logix came in and it threw a wrench into those gears. But it's just about finding your window and exploiting it that I think Shanghai's missing out on right now.
There's monstrous pressure on these players as well, considering they are the only Chinese team in this league. You are not supposed to go down at the bottom of the league right now, and so that is definitely playing a factor here in this roster's performance as well. They've just got that in the back of their head, like, we are failing right now and this is not good. And so they need to turn it around. It's a matter of shaking it off, because Florida Mayhem have certainly shown that they are mere mortals. They are not at the top of the league right now. They are in the same boat. So just start rocking it, Shanghai, come on.
One of these teams will get a win. One will be still without a win, joining Dallas at the bottom. Dallas will have a chance, though, later today to get that 0 out of the win column. Shanghai still trying to find the right compositions here. It's still going to hurt them that they don't have a natural projectile player, nor do they have a natural Zenyatta. The way this team was built was a little bit questionable in who they brought for supports. However, I do want to tell people who don't necessarily know, a lot of the best players that you wish were on this roster are ineligible. They're too young to play in the Overwatch League.
There is a 17-year-old cutoff, essentially. And so a lot of the big talent in Shanghai, well, in Shanghai and China, unfortunately not able to make the roster, but still, it is just a matter of time. It is a long season, and so there are plenty of opportunities here for Shanghai to turn things around. And while this is perhaps one way to do it, I mean, they've decided to go for the McCree play on Undead instead of sticking to the Widow. I mean, Hex, what do you make of that?
It's his best hero by a long shot. He's a great McCree, and I think we'll probably see him when we go into Control next. However, map-wise, it's not something you see on First Point Anubis almost ever, a defensive McCree here. And the reason being is there's too much distance between where the team is going to come in from for you to do effective damage. You're essentially going to let them in, and Tvic shuts down Dia immediately with a huge headshot.
And there we go. Zushu gets baited out. The trick. Oh no, and now Tvik cannot, well, he just go and link up with the rest of his team if he wants to. He even left a little present there for Zushu. Definitely not going to be happy about that, the monkey. Now, well, that's a strong start here for Florida. They're picking them off one at a time. High ground is still occupied by Shanghai. They still have something to work with there. Altering can still be in the fight. Just keep getting closer and closer to that Valkyrie as well. That's going to be so important here to perhaps turn the tide versus Florida. But Florida nearly halfway there to picking up the first point, and Tvik still reigns supreme. He's hitting shot after shot.
They're still going to come in and try to pressure the Zushu. Finally goes down as an afterthought in the back lines. He was alive very long. They are working their way towards these ultimates. They have resurrection available, but where Zushu died is unresable.
Ah, here we go, the Transcendence. Now Tvik can't really do anything here. So long as his teammates stay within that circle, they should be fine. It's about the sight lines, and somehow Tvik still finds a kill on Dia, who has not had a great first point here. Unfortunately for him, that pulse bomb will go unused, and this might be it for Florida. The self-destruct to buy a bit more time here, and Logix will dodge it using the recall, and even cancels out MG. Super solid stuff coming in here from Florida.
Transcendence heals everyone very quickly, but burst damage will go through it. The only one invulnerable is that Zan, which is why they lost their Tracer in that fight. The burst damage from Widow, too strong. The decent thing is that Zupe had to use his ultimate, and now they take down Altering. Logix going to town.
Yeah, it feels like Logix is starting to come into his own here. He's had a few good moments on that Tracer. He's definitely a solid Tracer player as well.
Both supports now down for Florida, though, so if they were going to do this, it's going to have to be a grit and determination battle. They only need one tick on the point, 33% of progress. But now with Maniton being demacked, it might be time to reset.
Solid. Swoosh realizes the game is up and just throws him in there. Throws himself in there, rather. Just dies. And so he will come back to life with the rest of his team, and they will be able to move together as a unit. Logix rocking the pulse bomb for now, but we will have a self-destruct from Maniton. Could be a bit fun to chuck that onto the point, create some space.
So interesting enough, on defense, they switched a bunch of heroes to get out there for stall. Moira, of course, has movement ability and speed to get on the point. Free Fuel went to that. Undead is on this Doomfist. I think that might have been a stall tactic, but now he's just going to roll with it. Yeah. Doomfist is very popular in the Chinese meta.
And well, he had a chance. You can see what he was thinking there as well, because he was lined up with the Junkrat coming through on Tvik. MG finds the kill on Tvik, though, with the but it's not going to be it. A little bit too late there, and Florida Mayhem will pick up the second map in this series of 4. Undead, I mean, I like the thought. You can see it right there. He was lining up that punch, and that's a one-hit kill if he lands it on Tvik, and so that could be a play, but he just wasn't quite able to connect.
I would like to see them just run their best heroes. Run some Doomfist, run some McCree, run some Widow. What you're trying is not working. However, yesterday we saw an 0-2 that got ran back by the Gladiators, so Shanghai is not out of this one yet.
Yeah, that was a style and play there from Logix. Glad to see him coming into his own. It seems like that pressure probably easing a little bit on him. We're starting to see some style points.
That's the response to Shanghai.